Jodie Ramsey finally admitted to her sister Shona that she was the person who attacked Sarah Platt during Sunday night's episode of Coronation Street. Earlier this year, Shona's previously unknown sister arrived in Weatherfield as part of the soap's crossover with Emmerdale. Her first appearance showed her bound and hidden in the back of a van, immediately raising questions about her past. Since then, Jodie has remained one of the show's most mysterious characters. Over the past 4 months, she has secretly stolen belongings from several residents, including a gun, and even attempted to impersonate Shona while visiting the hospital. Viewers have long known that Jodie was responsible for assaulting Sarah on the dramatic night in April. The attack happened shortly after Sarah struck the abusive Theo Silverton with a metal pole, an act that ultimately caused his death. While visiting his sister in prison, David was told by Sarah that she believed Jodie had knocked her unconscious to stop her from discovering the contents of the mysterious trinket box. Back at number 8, Shona confronted Jodie and finally forced the truth out of her. Furious, she questioned everything she had previously believed. Shona exclaimed, "I'm beginning to wonder if you were ever kidnapped in the first place. Fine, you attacked Sarah. But what happened after that? You saw her lying there? Did you even check if she was breathing? Did you try to help her at all?" Desperate to win back her sister's trust, Jodie pleaded for forgiveness before attempting to justify her actions. She argued, "If you think about it, by keeping quiet, I was actually protecting Sarah," leaving Shona laughing in disbelief at the absurd excuse. Unable to tolerate her lies any longer, Shona ordered Jodie to leave the house immediately, making it clear she no longer cared where she went. As the evening continued, Shona began to panic when Jodie failed to return home. She repeatedly tried calling her sister, but received no answer. Meanwhile, David's daughter Lily searched the house for her confiscated gaming console. During her search, she came across Jodie's trinket box and was stunned to discover the stolen gun hidden inside. The dramatic revelations quickly sparked reactions from viewers, many of whom believe the storyline is finally building toward Jodie's downfall as Shona edges closer to uncovering the full truth. One fan posted on X, "Really hope Jodie gets locked up soon. I still don't understand why she's even here and what happened to her dad." Another viewer commented, "Hopefully this is finally the end of Jodie." However, not everyone is convinced the storyline will lead to her departure. One frustrated fan wrote, "This soap is unbelievable. Shona has found out that Jodie attacked Sarah, and in a few weeks they'll probably be living together again like nothing happened. That would never happen in real life. Before anyone says it's only a TV show, Coronation Street is supposed to reflect real life." Coronation Street is introducing another dangerous villain to Weatherfield, just as several recent criminals have been removed from the picture. After the deaths and arrests of some of the soap's most notorious troublemakers, a new threat has arrived in the form of Ross, the biological father Tyrone Dobbs never knew. Ross was brought to Weatherfield after Tyrone's daughters, Hope and Ruby, secretly tracked him down, believing they were helping father and son reunite after years apart. Sadly, the girls have no idea who Ross really is. The only person immediately suspicious of him is Cassie Plummer, who has treated him with open hostility ever since he appeared on the cobbles. Cassie has every reason to distrust Ross because of a traumatic event from her past. Before Ross reunited with Tyrone, he crossed paths with Cassie at the Chariot Square Hotel. Feeling heartbroken after Steve McDonald hesitated when she proposed marriage, Cassie accepted a drink and chatted with a friendly stranger, only to realize too late that the man was Ross. Shaken by the encounter, Cassie later revealed the truth to Tyrone. She explained that when she was just 15 years old, Ross paid to have sex with her, and that encounter resulted in her becoming pregnant with Tyrone. When Tyrone confronted his biological father, Ross put on a convincing performance, claiming he deeply regretted his past actions. Tyrone chose to believe him, while Steve and Fizz also accepted that Ross deserved another chance. Feeling isolated and ignored, Cassie reluctantly agreed to see whether Ross had genuinely changed. It soon became clear that he had not. The moment they were alone together, Ross threatened Cassie, warning that he would kill her if she ever tried to come between him and Tyrone again. Ross has proven himself to be not only a sexual predator who targeted an underage girl, but also a violent and intimidating bully determined to silence anyone who stands in his way. Determined to protect her family, Cassie makes it her personal mission to drive Ross out of Weatherfield before he can cause any more harm. However, viewers already know Cassie's departure from the street is approaching, and her final attempt to expose Ross ends in disaster. Hoping to ruin Ross's new job at Highfield Prison, Cassie secretly crushes tablets into his smoothie so that he will fail a compulsory workplace drug test. Unfortunately, her plan falls apart when Steve spots the packet of pills she accidentally drops, immediately realizing what she has done. Disappointed and horrified by her actions, Steve ends their relationship, leaving Cassie devastated. Tyrone is equally furious after learning about his mother's sabotage and orders her to leave his home. With nothing left keeping her in Weatherfield, Cassie accepts a job as a cleaner aboard a cruise ship and prepares to say an emotional goodbye to her loved ones. Her farewell takes a sinister turn when Ross unexpectedly offers to drive her to begin her new life. Coronation Street is set to air another dramatic mystery next week as Dylan Wilson becomes the victim of a shocking attack, leaving residents desperate to uncover the culprit. Betsy Swain continues to struggle with life after her stroke, while someone close to her decides to take matters into their own hands by targeting Dylan. After being assaulted in the precinct, Dylan is discovered unconscious and later regains consciousness in hospital, but the identity of his attacker remains a mystery. According to sources from Weatherfield, Betsy is still deeply in love with Dylan, despite everything that has happened. Although she refuses to blame him for her condition, the people closest to her feel very differently and believe Dylan should face the consequences of his actions. Unable to accept Betsy's forgiveness, one person lets their emotions boil over and lashes out at Dylan. Back on the street, Betsy finds it difficult to accept how much her life has changed and longs for the relationship she once shared with Dylan. Knowing that Lisa wants Dylan kept well away from her daughter, Betsy quietly admits to Ryan Connor that she wishes she could speak to him again. After Ryan gently encourages the idea, Dylan visits number 6 to see Betsy. The pair share an emotional conversation, during which Betsy reassures Dylan that she does not hold him responsible for her stroke. Just as they begin reconnecting, Lisa unexpectedly arrives home, interrupting the heartfelt moment. The following day, Lauren Bolton is furious when she learns Dylan visited Betsy, insisting that he deserves to be punished for what happened. Meanwhile, Betsy is facing more immediate challenges as she becomes increasingly frustrated by the difficulties she is experiencing with her speech. Elsewhere, Brody Michaelis confronts Dylan at Roy's Rolls and warns him to stay away from Betsy. The tense exchange quickly escalates, and the two young men almost come to blows before Nina manages to separate them. Even though the confrontation ends without violence, the hostility between them is impossible to ignore. Later that day, Nina makes a horrifying discovery when she finds Dylan lying unconscious and injured in the precinct. After receiving treatment in hospital, Dylan returns home with his father, Sean, and visits Nina to thank her for finding him and getting help. Sean immediately becomes convinced that Brody was behind the attack,